Greetings, my TV geeks. You heard that right. Have you ever watched a TV show that has been so good that you believe it's the best show ever made? You get to work after it aired and everyone's talking about it. I have, several times. But what happens when the writers and the creatives aren't able to finish the show properly? Today, I'm going to talk about the shows that started well but ended badly. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and ring that bell to be notified every Wednesday and Friday. These shows, which I've just realised are all US shows, were all massive in their time, giving them a large viewership. But the problem that arises is the ending needs to be able to stick the landing, because if they don't, there's a lot of people that are going to complain about it. So here's my complaints. Let's start with Game of Thrones. Winter came and went quicker than a fart in the wind, and Series 8 has been talked about a lot. I think I wrote a weekly review for the World Geekly News website about each episode in Series 8. It's been parodied in a recent episode of Inside Number 9, which sees a writer being hounded by crazed fans because the ending of the series didn't live up to the hype. But I would argue they set up everything to go the way we saw on screen. Kind of. It just wasn't the same standards that Game of Thrones showed in the previous seasons. Now don't get me wrong, there's still a lot to love about Series 8, but a lot of the storylines that were built up during the slow build to the finale, we had character arcs, revelations needing to come out, characters who hadn't seen each other since the beginning of the show coming back together, and a large overarching story being cut off early in the series. The series seemed rushed, and sadly, it was. We know now that Benioff and Weiss had been offered Star Wars, and that meant they needed to wrap things up quickly. But alas, the rushed ending meant Star Wars didn't want them. So, that's the end of that. Let's travel to an island now. The island. Lost. Again, the series was massive. The pilot was like a film. A crash plane on a beach, people disorientated walking about, and a monster growling from the woods beyond. The use of flashbacks to tell the story is a great way of setting up a TV show. The start was strong, the threads of storylines were compelling, and the characters were exceptional. But then, flash forward to season 6, and the finale occurred. Following a series of time travel, flash forwards, flashbacks, and introducing Flash Sideways, it became convoluted and decidedly raised more questions than gave us any answers. But I will admit that I actually found the finale quite a nice end. The characters had spent their most meaningful parts of their lives on the island, and that when they die, whenever, wherever that was, they'd still be together. Which worked. But a lot of people saw the Flash Sideways and Limbo aspect a cop-out, because everyone said in the beginning the passengers of Oceanic Flight 815 were always in limbo, even though they weren't. Not until the end. Heroes was a great show. The first season showed us a new take on the superhero tropes. Each character had a power that seemed to come from a solar eclipse. There were heroes, there were villains, and one thing to do: save the cheerleader and save the world. It was great. There was a threat that the world would be destroyed if the cheerleader wasn't saved, and a villain who was pretty good, played by Zachary Quinto. But then, the first season ended, and it got a second, which would be interrupted by the writer's strike. It was also a repeated storyline and a slow build that made fans begin to dislike it. But the end was lackluster, and after a dull series of storylines, Heroes failed to make an impact. They tried a revival, but I didn't watch it. I don't know if anyone else did. Let me know if you did. One series that is making the headlines at the moment due to a podcast, Scrubs. is one of my favourite comedy shows. It was fast, quick-witted, and surprisingly medically accurate. The series was great from start to finish. But when I say finish, I mean the real end to the series. Season 8 saw JD, played by Zach Braff, leave the show as his character had a baby and he wanted to be closer to her. It was a great season and ended extremely well. The finale saw him leave the hospital, reliving moments that had gone before. Then it showed a montage of what could happen in the future. And then it ended. Perfect end. Brilliant. Or at least it should have ended, as there was a season 9 that saw a new teaching hospital, a new class of med students, and a whole load of new jokes. But it also saw the return of the majority of the cast from the early seasons. It didn't work, and I'll admit, I wasn't even able to get through the first 5 episodes. The crazy thing is, I tried about 2 weeks ago after watching the entire run, and it was terrible. I had to turn it off. I'd like to know if anyone out there has watched the entirety of season 9 and likes it. Another show that's getting a revival is Dexter. Dexter was a great series, and I may have to come back to this, but after season 4 with the brilliant John Lithgow, the show just seemed to repeat itself and lose its charm and the slick storytelling that it had earlier. Then the finale happened, and although I didn't mind it, it was probably because it was the end, it just didn't feel right. Luckily, the post-credit scene told us that Dexter is now a lumberjack, leaping from tree to tree as they... No, that's something else.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day.
He's a lumberjack and he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day.
I got onto How I Met Your Mother through a friend, and I enjoyed it. The friendship shown in the series rivaled that of Friends. The storytelling was good, the comedy was good, but then they got to the final season and the wedding. The show began with an enjoyable will they won't they relationship between Ted and Robin, but as the stories went on and they drifted apart, we were led to believe that the mother in How I Met Your Mother was who Ted was meant to end up with. By that time, Robin was with Barney and all was right with the world. Yet the final episode decided to pull the rug out from under us and have the mother die, Barney and Robin divorce, and Ted get back with Robin. Despite being the plan from the beginning, it seems that the writers didn't realise that the audience wouldn't enjoy the twist ending. There are more TV shows, so I may have to revisit this topic at a later date. Let me know if there's any TV shows you want me to talk about, or you think were good, and then got worse. I'm Nate, the Ultimate Movie Geek. Please like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified every Wednesday and Friday for our videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.